Hello, beautiful beings of light, grid keepers, way showers, poets, lovers of beauty. I'm here today on a Sunday, all snuggled up. It's cold outside. Fall is approaching. And everything that I had scheduled to do today has kind of gone out the window. I was up most of the night, awoken by these raucous thunderstorms with thunder like I've never heard, never felt before. The power of it. In fact, when I awoke from a deep sleep, my initial impression was not that it was thunder at all, but that we were under some sort of attack, as it were. But the break in the schedule and in the driving forward and, pursuit of all the tasks and activities that were planned for the day, it's given me a space to sit and reflect and record this message. And the feeling that I have been experiencing, certainly over these past 6 to 8 weeks, is this energy blueprint of what my team in spirit, angels, guardian guides, are calling the departure. The departure, which is a super intense and deeply personal energy stream that most of us in the collective are moving through at this time. In my own world, in the last few weeks, I've lost both my stepfather, who was the only father figure that I had in my life at this time. And also a week ago, we lost who I considered to be the spiritual anchor of this household. And that was our puppy dog, Crosby. And so we are feeling the grief of departure in our lives heavily. If you look at the world globally, this feeling of departure is very acute, with all of these massive weather events, not just in the Americas, but globally. This very Piscean energy, the water, and how it's unleashed, unlocked this deeply felt emotion of grief, and also anger and frustration that's now bubbling up to the surface. And then if you bring it down another layer, just in communicating with others, observing others in the social sphere, many, many people have lost loved ones, pets. This father energy and the departure of this outdated archetypal energy has now been leaving the atmosphere. And as we move further into this season of crumbling, this blueprint of departure will be very forefront in our hearts and in our minds. But the understanding, the knowingness through my channelings that I've come into the awareness of is that, you know, everything has reason and purpose. And for many that are departing the earth, the material realm at this time, this was a part of their mission. They agreed for our benefit to leave at this time, because what it's doing is cracking open, okay, the heart center. It's allowing a greater expansion of the collective heart energy to take form, take shape. And so many of the souls that are transitioning at this time were catalysts. They are the spark that starts this next spiral of space-time. As hard as that is for us, in our grief, in our missing, in our attachment, in our love, in our longing, it brings me great comfort to know that it is with reason and purpose. Many of us are choosing to end relationships at this time, careers. We've outgrown much of our old templating. And so this feeling of departure although difficult, also comes with something else on the other side of its coin. And that's moving into a state of open-heartedness, receptivity, divinity, femininity. There is a softer expression available on this planet at this time, a loving, soft, subtle energy. If you're willing to allow the breaking open, if you're brave enough to let your walls come down. You know, last night we got the opportunity to go to this little charity event that they were holding down by the water, and it was a haunted trail. Something I hadn't been to since I was a kid, and something I normally would steer away from. I'm just not one of those people that just I'm going to thrust myself into a situation to have the crap scared out of me. But last night I was that person. And it was very tame, you know, in comparison to, you know, what's available out there nowadays, if you want to get scared. But as we were going through it, I was surprised at how open I was to being scared, how loudly I screamed, and how much fun it was. Because as soon as I would get scared, I would just start laughing hysterically. And it really felt really fun, wandering through the woods at night and not knowing what was going to creep out next or jump out next. And I was thinking about that in relationship to letting our walls down. And the reason why, I was having a conversation with my partner afterwards. I said, I wonder why, I've changed so much where it's just, you're just laughing afterwards. And, he brought up the point that a part of that's probably because, you're safe. In this context, you're safe. And that really rang true for me. Because if we walked around in our realities, really knowing we were safe and taken care of, it wouldn't matter what human emotion or experience arose. We would be able to just take it in stride, ride the wave, laugh it off. Think, oh, how funny it is that I'm so human and how easily I'm scared. And that's essentially what we're being asked to do at this time. We're learning how to hold all of the experiences at once. We're learning that we can be in grief and we can feel heartbroken and we can still feel joy and laughter and love, and we can see it as a thing of beauty. And we can reflect and take the lesson away. That's all available at this time, in this now. It's okay to be vulnerable and in love when you hold no fear. When you no longer view yourself at the mercy of the wheel, but instead become the wheel. Allow, receive, feel into the subtle energies of life. Move more intuitively in sovereignty, in awareness. And that is the gift that we are receiving at this time through the opening of the higher heart and the receipt of universal love, Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, whatever lens you want to view that through. In my own life, I felt this departure energy strongly over this past year. Having to step away from Love Manifest and the channeling as I'd known it, I felt this deep missing and longing. But at a certain point through the transformational process, I realized that the mission I was embarking on through this healing cancer journey necessitated that the frequency of the mission was changing. And that's something that has taken me a while to come into acceptance with. When I first started Love Manifest, I had no awareness or inclination that channeling would be involved in it at all. Certainly not from the perspective that I then began to embody, through this higher dimensionality and tethering and toroidal fields and energetic blueprints and astrology and sacred geometry and all the different energies that I got to work with. And initially, it was just from the state of awareness I was in, it was just a way to share poetry and talk about life experience with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And then when 2020 rolled around and the Terra group came into my life and tethering came into my life, everything just blew wide open. And certainly it was 3 full years of immersion into materials, books, ways of seeing things, understanding the information I was channeling. It was all encompassing. And I wouldn't have had it any other way. It was allowing me to make sense of the events that were going on globally and in my own personal life. And as I continued on through that process of expansion, my personal reality began to shift immensely as well. I, began homeschooling and shifted that entire paradigm with my child, got involved in a co-op community of homeschooling parents, which has now evolved into teaching a course on community kindness. Healed so much in my physicality, immersed myself in nature. Just everything shifted and changed in my lived experience, along with this very intellectual, mental awakening. But the further I stepped away from it over the course of this last year since the diagnosis, and through all of the shifting and changing and transformation I've been going through, I was able to see that, in a way, the channeling allowed me to have one step removed from my authenticity and my authentic self, because it can be seen as a mask. I am Love Manifest. I am the Terra Group. I am the Sirius collaboration of light bodies. I am the cosmos. I am you. Those are all aspects of this energetic blueprint known as Love Manifest. And if you really even knew all of the aspects of self that you're working with and co-creation with in any given moment, in any given now, it would freak you out, probably. Because we are all aspects of one another. And in this way, no one can ever truly die, because we carry with us the fractals of the energetic blueprint, which we exchanged with anyone we've ever come into contact with. They become a part of us and us a part of them. And in this way, all of our collective story, our collective program, our collective conditioning, our collective love, our collective everything is carried forward. That energy cannot die. And I realize that as the calling has shifted and changed, that it's time now for me to speak from an authentic, unmasked space. And so in a way, I'm also saying goodbye to something that I really love and enjoy and will never be able to not be. You know, I brought this as a visual. I kept seeing this in my mind. When I, as a galactic energy intuitive, when I feel the world and the universe and see my reality, I'm seeing it from this perspective as this point of light. And I can see how everything's moving and shifting and changing and rearranging and how it all fits together. And that's just my perspective on the journey of life. But I no longer have the intense desire to sit there and pick apart and disseminate all of the things that are being downloaded into my consciousness about the goings on of the universe in the way that I once did. The stories I want to tell now are my own, about my life and lived experience and the journey I'm having and the way that I'm viewing it, the beauty that I see. So when I release this, I'll also be releasing the first of what I hope will be many pieces under the same name, The Departure. And this is my story about the experience and loss that I've moved through over the last few months. And it's my hope as an experiential channel that that same feeling will be felt through you, and that it might help you move through your departures. It's time to let the walls down. It's time to know that we are safe and protected, and that it's okay to stand in our authenticity, our vulnerability. It's okay to move through the world with a big, beating, open heart. And I hope to be sharing that with you more and more as the days and months unfold. I'm sending you all big, 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 big love. Bye.
Leave your coat, it isn't cold out. I'll be with you just in case. Don't be nervous, 'cause I'm here now. Fight the urge to stay the same. I got my hand out, won't you reach for?
Just wanted to say I love ya. Scully loves ya. Bye.
Try to say